Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. I'm your host, Jon June, and welcome into the Christmas Spectacular, hosted by yours truly, of course, and my co-host, Greg Penniman. Greg, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, we're getting close to the greatest holiday ever. I mean, and not finals week, but semifinals week. So, last year we had a Alvin Kamara Christmas special. Maybe we can hopefully get one of those legendary performances from some special player this week.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, looking at you.
Yeah, JT, that's true. That'd be a nice Christmas spectacular, and not spectacular for me. That's what he does at this point.
Well, 6 would be a feat that he has not accomplished, so I would love to see that. But the FFDX Christmas Spectacular, we are obviously here. It is going to be a spectacular moment because we are not covering just the 1 p.m. games. We're not covering just the 4 p.m. or the primetime games or the Saturday games. We're covering every single game, and then we're going to take the rest of the week off, and we'll talk to y'all, obviously on Monday to recap the week that was, but we're going to, go through streams of the week. We're going to go through starts of the week. We're going to play some Get Money as well. So similar to the Spody Odi Dopa show that we did for Thanksgiving, again, you don't have to consume this all in one sitting. You can, unlike your Christmas presents, which you are going to probably open up all at one time, this one you don't have to open it, or listen to the entire thing in its entirety. You can take it in some pieces. Just be mindful. We're recording this here Wednesday evening, about 10:30 at night. So between now and the time that these games kick off, some things can change. Players could get COVID. Game could get postponed, as we've seen. So, stay water, stay fluid. Make sure that you're able to adjust, and that you're reacting to this news as it comes in. But Greg, with that being said, let's kick off the Week 16 breakdown by giving out these streams of the week. So who's your quarterback stream of the week?
I'm going to go with Matt Ryan going against Detroit. Hasn't had a 2 passing touchdown game since week 9, but I do like his matchup here. Falcons should be doing a good job of getting the ball downfield to Coppice, Russell Gage, to Cordell Patterson. I think they found a nice little connection downfield, especially with Gage, and I think Matt Ryan gets it done definitely for over 250.
I like that one for sure. I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield, roster 28% of Yahoo leagues, goes up against Green Bay. This game has a 44.5 point total, which is the 5th highest total on the week. Going up against Aaron Rodgers, opposing quarterbacks are averaging 25 fantasy points per game against Green Bay over the last 3 weeks. And you're probably saying, oh, but John, Tyler Huntley just went off against Green Bay last week. That's probably bringing up that average. Well, in fact, they've allowed at least 18 points over their last 4 games, in each of their last 4 games, to opposing quarterbacks. The Browns are getting healthier. I like Baker to have a streamable week this week.
Yeah, I like that for sure.
Greg, your tight end stream of the week, man. What do you got?
I mean, the reason why I like that is because I have Austin Hooper as my tight end stream of the week. He's 32% rostered, going against Green Bay. Green Bay is susceptible to giving up points to the tight end position. Also, this is probably one of the top target getters for this team when he's in and healthy. 6 targets the week before. He had scored a touchdown. Used to averaging at least 5 targets in 3 of the last 4 games. So he's been on target with Baker Mayfield as a guy you can trust and probably get a touchdown.
Yeah, definitely like that one as well. I'm going to go back to a well here. I'm going to go back to the Cole Kmet well. He's still only 25% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Gets to go up against Seattle. Came through last week, 6 for 71 on 9 targets. I think he can come through again for us this week. Seattle has been the team to target with the tight end position this season, and they've kept that trend going over their last 3 games, allowing the 5th most PPR points to the position at 19.1. One of just 5 teams allowing more than 19 points per game to the tight ends during that span. And Kmet, who hasn't scored a touchdown yet, should have about 3.7 touchdowns right now based on his yardage total. So some positive regression potentially coming his way there.
Yeah, he's definitely due.
Greg, your defensive stream of the week, man.
Speaking of going with Matt Ryan, I'm gonna go with Atlanta's defense going against Detroit. Kind of play into their hands there. They played 49ers last week, bad matchup for them. But before that, had 4 straight games with at least 1 interception. Had 2 against Carolina, so they can take advantage of some good matchups. This is probably one of the best you're gonna get. Team that's going for the #1 pick. I think they get some turnovers in this one.
Like that one as well. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville, 6% roster in Yahoo leagues. They get to play against Zach Wilson and the New York Jets, and they're widely available. So if you're desperate, you need them, they're definitely out there.
Yeah, both available. Atlanta's, I think, 4% roster too.
Let's jump into Thursday Night Football, and we've got the 8-6 San Francisco 49ers traveling to Tennessee to take on the 10-4 Tennessee Titans. This game has a 44-point total, where the San Francisco 49ers are 3.5-point favorites. Similar to last time, I'm not going to get into the details of every injury like I normally do. I will shed some light on some of the ones that I think are important, but I'm not going to go through the trouble on Wednesday of listing everybody on injury reports when, a lot of this stuff could change between now and Sunday. So, in terms of the injuries on the San Fran side, Elijah Mitchell, he's out with a knee injury. There's a few guys on defense that, are also out. Trey Sermon actually designated to return from injured reserve, so it's just something to note. As we get closer, deeper into this fantasy playoff. On the Tennessee side, AJ Brown, he's been designated to return from injured reserve, so looks like he's on track to play. I think they have until. I think they had until today at 3 p.m. to activate him, so I'm sure that was done, or it's either today or tomorrow. But they will be missing a couple guys on the offensive line. In terms of the game here, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Tennessee to cover. Going to take San Fran to win, however. George Kittle on the San Fran side, he's obviously tight end 1, upside to be the tight end 1. Deebo Samuel, he's a high-end wide receiver 2. Jimmy G, I think, is solid quarterback 2 on the week. And then Brandon Ayuk, I think he's definitely a wide receiver 3. He's got upside for more than that for sure. Tennessee's been weak against wide receivers. They've been better as of late, but I still like Kyle Shanahan and company to put some points up against a weak Tennessee defense. A Tennessee defense that's had its moments of weakness at points this year. And then on the Tennessee side, Deontay Foreman, he's an RB2, and I love AJ Brown coming back to help fantasy managers this week. That's right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna take Tennessee to cover, but I'm gonna take Tennessee to win as well. They seem to just always find a way to win big games. On Tennessee side, I do like AJ Brown definitely coming back for a bounce back week here. I think you slot him right into at least top 24 category. He's definitely going to be a leader in targets on this team. Ryan Tannehill is going to find him. As far as the running backs, Deontay Foreman, I think, is the lead, carry getter. He's probably going to be the lead touches. Unless the game script goes back and forth a little bit, Dontre Hilliard can be involved to be a RB3, lone RB3. On San Fran's side, Jimmy G, I agree, is in that QB2 territory. No Eli Mitchell, so Jeff Wilson Jr. is back in plug-and-play RB2 territory as well. And Deebo Samuel and George Kittle, the Pro Bowl selectees, big ups to them. You got to start them there. George Kittle is the top 3 option. Deebo Samuel, I like him as a lone wide receiver 1.
Yeah, totally forgot to mention Jeff Wilson there. definitely like him as an RB2 without Elijah Mitchell. All right,
Yeah.
moving on to Saturday afternoon football. The 7-7 Cleveland Browns traveling to Green Bay to take on an 11-3 Green Bay Packers. This game has a 44.5 point total. The Green Bay Packers are 7-point favorites. In terms of injuries, the Browns are getting a bunch of reinforcements back from the COVID list. In terms of Green Bay, Aaron Jones, he was limited with a knee injury. Aaron Rodgers obviously dealing with that toe injury, hasn't practiced, but does not seem to be phased by that. Greg, where are you going with this matchup here?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Green Bay to cover and Green Bay to win at Lambeau. I think they just get it done. They're undefeated this year at home, so they're going to keep rolling. Aaron Rodgers, QB1, mid-tier QB1 for me. Aaron Jones, if he's able to go, he's a solid RB2. AJ Dillon, again, will continue to be involved I think they're kind of ranked in similar territory, but I do give Aaron Jones a little higher upside. As far as receivers, Devontae Adams being the monster he's going to be all throughout the playoffs, you got to start him up. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is definitely getting some momentum, so he's got to be in wide receiver territory for me. And on the Cleveland side, Nick Chubb, he should hopefully feed him a lot of touches like they did last week in that second half to get him into RB1 territory. Austin Hooper's back, so I like him. He's my tight end streamer of the week to likely lead the team in targets. And if Jarvis is back, he's kind of like wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mention it, but I think MVS is out. He's on the COVID list. So no MVS.
So Devontae, that's all I want then.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I'm gonna take the over here. I'm gonna take Green Bay to cover. I'm gonna take Green Bay to win. Nick Chubb has to come through this week for an RB2 finish at least. I got it done last week, but we have to get it done this week here. Counting on him for that. In terms of the pass game, like I said, I like Baker Mayfield to be a streaming option. I also really like Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, I think that he's got the most upside of all these wide receivers here. Jarvis Landry again, he's going to be that steady guy. But if you want that upside, those big plays, Donovan Peoples-Jones is where those are going to come from. On the Green Bay side, yeah, Devontae Adams, like as much Devontae Adams as I can possibly get in this game. That's what I want. And then Aaron Rodgers, obviously attached to that. In terms of the running backs, like you were saying, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, they're both like RB2s. That's kind of where I see them. But Aaron Jones is going to get that slight edge to where he'll probably he'll see that pass game work. They'll both be used around the goal line. But I think Aaron Rodgers just has higher upside. I think so.
Right.
I'm going to give him the slight edge there. Moving on to Saturday night football, we've got the 8-6 Indianapolis Colts traveling to Arizona to take on the 10-4 Arizona Cardinals. This game has a 1.5 or 49.5 point total, where the Cardinals are 1.5 point favorites. Ooh. In terms of injuries, on the Arizona side, James Conner, he was a DNP with a heel injury. Rondale Moore, DNP with an ankle. Zach Ertz, limited participant with a hamstring. On the Indianapolis side, they got a couple of guys on defense that were added to the COVID list there. I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take Indianapolis to cover. I'm going to take Indianapolis to win. On the Arizona side, Kyler needs a bounce back in a major way after last week. And if he can get his legs going, I think we get that bounce back. James Conner, he's the top guy in the backfield. So you play him as an RB1. If he can't go for whatever reason, Chase Edmonds obviously would assume an RB1 role. But assuming that James Conner does go, Chase Edmonds, who was a little bit involved last week, I expect his role to continue to grow. But he's probably an RB3, desperation flex option at this point. Probably much better option in DFS. or very deep leagues. And then on the Indianapolis side, JT, he's obviously going to be in your lineup. Michael Pittman Jr., I like him to have a bounce back week this week. And then Carson Wentz has some quarterback two intrigue, especially if you're playing in super flex leagues.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Colts to cover, and I'm gonna take the Colts to win. I think JT, man, is just the formula for the Colts right now to win football games, and they gotta continue to use that. So obviously, on the Colts side, JT, he's a top one option right now at the RB position. Hopefully, he gets another 25 to 30 carries and gets it done for this team. Michael Pittman hopefully doesn't get ejected in this game, but he's got to be back and play. Hopefully, get you a top 30 play, because they're gonna have to use him as well. And just J.C. Jackson is not on him. As far as the Cardinal side, Kyler Murray should definitely bounce back and have a better game. So I have him definitely as a high in QB1. James Conner being the lead dog, I agree with you in that low on RB1 territory. Christian Kirk is kind of taking the lead dog role, so you got to continue to play him as a strong wide receiver too for me. And Zach Ertz, if he's able to go, he's definitely in some start of the week potential. He's got a good matchup, and he's definitely going to be the second target getter in this team, or with Kirk as well.
Yeah, no idea why I did not speak about those guys, but yeah, Christian Kirk, Zach Ertz, definitely.
Yeah, those two, yeah, get it done.
Moving on to the next matchup here, still Sunday 1 p.m. We've got the 10-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to Carolina to take on the 5-9 Carolina Panthers. This game has a 44-point total, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 11-point favorites. In terms of injuries, some good news. Is it good news? I'm not really sure. But Carolina, they're getting Sam Darnold back. He's healthy. Apparently, Cam Newton is still the starter, but Sam Darnold is expected to play. I don't know how that works. What that means. I think pretty sure Matt Rule says this like every week at this point with his quarterback. So we'll just kind of believe it when we see it. On the Tampa Bay side, Mike Evans, he was a DNP with a hamstring injury that he suffered in Sunday's game. Antonio Brown, he was a limited participant with an ankle injury that's kept him out for the last few weeks. Levante David, he could be out for the next 4 weeks with a foot sprain there. So something to watch on the Tampa Bay side, on that Tampa Bay defense. So, that defensive side and that front seven specifically. Greg, where are you going with this matchup here?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Tampa to cover and Tampa to win. I think even with the injuries, Tampa does lock in and take advantage of Carolina, who I still think is a inferior team to them. I'm not looking at any quarterbacks on Carolina side. Really, with them, I'm looking at DJ Moore as probably just a wide receiver 3 territory, and Amir Abdullah for desperation running back. That's really all I'm touching. But on Tampa side, Tom Brady, I have him as a low in QB1. I think he still doesn't have weapons, but he does get AB back. That was his favorite weapon when he was using them. So AB, I think, slides into high end wide receiver 2 category right away if he's playing with some wide receiver 1 upside. Have Ronald Jones ready. Leonard Fournette's doubtful for this game, so I think he slides into probably one of the top waiver ads if we can make him and put him in as a plug and play RB2. And as far as the Gronkowski is going to be the next pass catcher with AB to lead that front. So he's definitely got top 5 tight end value. And the only other pass catcher I can think of is Tyler Johnson. He kind of slides in as usually the next guy, but I wouldn't trust him too much.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take Carolina to cover. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to win. Cam is impossible to trust, but that upside is definitely there. I mean, he's a borderline QB1 for me. That's probably where I have him, but he's that upside, the range of outcomes is so wide for him.
Crazy. Mm-hmm.
It's really crazy. DJ Moore, I probably have him closer to wide receiver 2, with Robbie Anderson being a wide receiver 3. I like Abdullah as an RB3 option. Prefer him over Chuba Hubbard, who I'm probably going to stay away from in a
Yeah,
game like this. On the Tampa Bay side, I think Antonio Brown is like a necessity this week, man. I think,
for
I
sure.
think he can really see Justin Jefferson or Cooper Cup level volume from Tom
Plus,
Brady.
10 plus targets for sure. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking more like 14, 15
yeah,
if
yeah.
we're being honest, right? Um, Tom Brady, I think he's still going to be a QB1 for me. And then Ronald Jones, he's going to help you out this week as a plug and play RB2 if you're able to scoop him up off waivers.
Hmm.
Being in this offense, he's fresh. He's got fresh legs right now too,
Yep.
which definitely is going to help you if you're able to scoop him up. And then, like you said, Gronk should see a bump in volume, and then Tyler Johnson always seems to be that guy that gets those opportunities. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got the 8-6 LA Chargers traveling to Houston and take on a 3-11 Houston Texans. This game has a 46-point total, where the LA Chargers are 9.5-point favorites. In terms of injuries, on the Houston side, Brandon Cooks, he was added to the COVID-19 reserve list, so that's a blow there for the Texans. On the Chargers side, Austin Eckler and Jalen Guyton were both added to the COVID-19 reserve list. So, in terms of this game here, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the Chargers to cover. I'm going to take the Chargers to win. On the Houston side, this list was always one name long, and now Brandon Cooks is out on COVID, so there's really no one to talk about on that side. Maybe Brevin Jordan, will have some
Maybe got a good
opportunities.
matchup.
Yeah, he's got a good matchup there with the Chargers. That's a dart throw that worth taking there, I guess, if you're looking for some help. On the Charger side, Justin Herbert continues to get it done regardless of who's around him. So he's going to be a QB1. Uh, I think Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I'm going to treat both of them as wide receiver ones in this matchup, especially without an Austin Eckler. And then Justin Jackson, I think, gets treated as an RB2, potentially even an RB1, with the matchup here against Houston.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Chargers to cover. I'm gonna take the Chargers to win. I don't see Houston scoring a lot of points. The Chargers defense probably started the week for sure. They'll probably be the MVP in this game, but on Houston side, it's really up. No one. I agree with you. Uh, Brevin Jordan maybe as a desperation tight end, but on the Chargers side, love Herbert. No Eckler this week, so possibly no Eckler this week. So good, Justin Jackson is going to be that guy. And yeah, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams should both eat to be the two leading target getters in this offense for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to this next matchup, we've got the 4-10 New York Giants traveling to Philadelphia to take on the 7-7 Philadelphia Eagles. This game has a 40.5-point total, where the Philadelphia Eagles are 10-point favorites. In terms of injuries here, for the Giants, Daniel Jones, he was added to the injured reserve with a neck injury. Kadarius Toney, who's been out with a quad or an oblique, as well as was on the COVID list, according to Joe Judge, should be returning to the building. Not sure when he'll return to action, so I wouldn't even be counting on him for this stretch of fantasy playoffs. Saquon Barkley, he's dealing with an ankle. He's back and forth on and off the injury report with this thing. So, limited participant in practice. Think he'll give it a go, obviously. On the Philly side, Miles Sanders, he was DNP Wednesday with a quad. Don't know if that's just maintenance because they played on Tuesday. But, definitely, keeping an eye on that. Jordan Howard, he was limited participant with a knee injury, and then Jalen Hurts, he was questionable with an ankle. probably just, again, maintenance day for him as well. Greg, where are you at with this matchup here?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Philly to cover and Philly to win. I think this time Philly's able to score more points at home. We know the Giants are not going to really show up offensively, so they're not going to get it done on the Giants side. Probably all I want is Devontae Booker, honestly. As far as if Saquon is banged up, you can maybe have him as a desperation RB3, but Devontae Booker has some high end RB3 value. Maybe could give you a low end RB2 week. He's been, very explosive with his runs lately. And on the Eagles side, Hurts season, Jalen Hurts, give me all of that. He's back. Treat him as a QB1 territory, doing both his legs and his arm. Even with the ankle, he looked very well yesterday on Tuesday night. As far as Dallas Goedert, he's been blowing up last couple of weeks, being a monster tight end. Continue to play him as such. And as far as the running game, if Miles Sanders can go, he's been a solid. I think he's in that high-end RB2 category for me. Devontae Smith is basically benchable at this point. It's really hard to trust him. So I think Goddard is the main pass catcher in this offense.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over here. I'm gonna take Philadelphia to cover. I'm gonna take Philadelphia to win. On the Giants side, yeah, Saquon, if he can go, I'm gonna have him as a low end RB2. Booker as an RB3. Evan Ingram, desperation tight end stream here. But that's really as far as I'm going with this offense. On the Philly side, Jalen Hurts, once again, top 3 option at the quarterback position this week. Dallas Goedert, he's been money. So you obviously continue to roll him out there. Miles Sanders, he's been really good as of late as well. Top 10 option. I didn't realize that he hadn't even scored a touchdown yet this year. That's kind of crazy.
Nope. Highest scrimmage yards in the league without a touchdown. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and Devontae Smith, like you said, is basically benchable. I mean, but the thing is like Jalen Hurts has gotten, if you look at just, haven't watched him or just watching him the other day, the progression that he's made as a passer, the strides that he's made, like, Devontae Smith, makes you kind of feel like that maybe that it'll be close, but maybe we'll just wait till next year.
Yeah. Next year it's gonna work. Yeah. Hopefully the Giants play some Jake Fromm, get some Jake Fromm action this one.
Let's move on to the next matchup. 1 p.m. game. 8-6 Baltimore Ravens travel to Cincinnati, take on the 8-6 Cincinnati Bengals. This game has a 44.5 point total, where the Bengals are 2.5 point favorites. In terms of injuries, Lamar Jackson, he's a DNP Wednesday with that ankle injury that kept him out of the previous game. And John Harbaugh referred to him today as day-to-day, which was a red flag immediately for me because, I was like,
yeah, he said that last week.
Day-to-day means actually week-to-week. So not feeling good about this for Lamar again for, potentially another week here. Cincinnati, they are okay on the injury front. In terms of the game here, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Cincy to cover. I'm going to take Cincy to win. If Lamar doesn't go, Huntley, he's once again, a QB1. Mark Andrews, he's the man. That's it. Devontae Freeman, in RB2. Hollywood Brown, he's a wide receiver too. And then on the Bengals side, Joe Burrow, I think he's a top 10 quarterback option. T. Higgins, he's a top 15 wide receiver. Tyler Boyd has suddenly, decided to involve himself in this offense as of late. So, continue to roll him out there as a wide receiver 2 flex option. And then Jamar Chase, I'm gonna treat him as a wide receiver 3 with upside for way more than that. And then Joe Mixon in RB2 with upside for way more than that as well.
I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take Baltimore to cover. I'm gonna take Baltimore to win, regardless of Lamar Huntley. I think Baltimore just able to get it done. This is basically for the AFC North right now. This matchup, both 8-6, so it's be a good, very solid game on Baltimore side. Again, plan to have no Lamar, so have Tyler Huntley ready. but he's gonna give you a QB1 week. Devontae Freeman, I think he's gonna give you a solid RB2 week, low end RB2 week. Mark Andrews has been the main pass catcher in this offense. You gotta trust him as the top 3 option at the tight end position with Kittle and Kelsey. And Hollywood Brown, I think he's in that wide receiver 2 territory. As far as the Cincinnati side, T. Higgins is in a good, definitely in a blow up spot this week for sure. So I like his matchup. Joe Mixon, also, he's going to get a lot of volume, so he's going to be in that low end RB1 category. And Jamar Chase is definitely the lower ranked wide receiver. He did blow up. This was his blow up game against Baltimore the first time. He had 2 touchdowns and they go over 201 yards. But there's always potential for him to finish as a wide receiver 1. I have him as a low end wide receiver 2, though. And Joe Burrow definitely should do better than last week. Had that road matchup against Denver at home now. Got him in that borderline QB1 territory.
Yeah, definitely this game has a ton of intrigue for sure. Moving on to the next matchup, 1 p.m. game, the 2-11-1 Detroit Lions travel to Atlanta to take on the 6-8 Atlanta Falcons. This game has a 42.5 point total, where the Atlanta Falcons are 6-point favorites. In terms of injuries, Atlanta is okay. In terms of on the Detroit side, DeAndre Swift was a limited participant in practice with a shoulder injury, so that's some positive news there for him. Josh Reynolds, he was limited with a thigh injury, and then Jared Goff, he was added to the COVID-19 list and most likely will be out on Sunday. Greg, where are you at with this matchup here?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Atlanta to cover, take Atlanta to win. On Atlanta side, you already know how I feel about Matt Ryan. He's my streamer of the week. I think he has a solid game here, can get a nice mid-tier QB2 week, high-end QB2 week. As far as the star players for their team, Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts, Russell Gage, I think those guys are all usable. Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts, one's at their position, and Russell Gage has been a nice wide receiver to these last couple of weeks, and can get you some blow up as he can get down the field for this team, which I think he will. So definitely play him. On Detroit side, Swift and Jamal Williams, was spotted back at practice, so Craig Reynolds' season might be over. It was definitely nice for him. If you guys added him and used him for the last couple of weeks, but if keep an eye on the reports about Swift and Williams, because this team is bad, so they might miraculously just keep him sit him out to take losses. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as who I would use. As far as Amon-Ra St. Brown, as far as the receivers, for sure, he's definitely into that top 30 category every week.
Top 30, give my man some credit.
That's consistency, top 30 every week.
I mean, that's 3 weeks in a row, he's been a wide receiver like 15 or better. But anyway, I'm gonna take the over here. I'm gonna take Atlanta to cover. Gonna take Atlanta to win. On the Atlanta side, Cordell Patterson, this low management thing is a killer, man. I'm telling you. I think you still got to take a shot on him. The touchdown upside is still going to be there. Russell Gage, I like him as a top 10 option again this week. Kyle Pitts, he's in a great spot this week as well. I think he's definitely a top 6, top 7 option this week for sure. Mike Davis has some running back flex, RB3 flex appeal. If Cordell Patterson's going to, get not phased out, but his touch is limited. They've got to go somewhere. So Mike Davis, I think, has some intrigue there. And then on the Detroit side, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's got wide receiver 1 upside. Craig Roberts, top 10 running back upside if Williams and Swift can't go. But if those guys go, this backfield's a mess. And I honestly, I think I would take my shot on Swift just because his name is DeAndre Swift and he's talented, but I would not feel comfortable doing that.
They wouldn't bring him back if they weren't going to use him at this point in the season, I think. So if he's playing, he should be used.
That would be the hope. That would be the hope. Moving on to the next matchup, the 2-12 Jacksonville Jaguars traveling to New York or MetLife in New Jersey to take on the 3-11 New York Jets. This game has a 41.5 point total, where the New York Jets are 1 point favorites. In terms of injuries on the Jacksonville side, Carlos Hyde, he was placed on injured reserve. Running back James Robinson, he's dealing with a knee injury, so he was limited participant in practice. On the New York Jets side, they've got a little bit of a COVID breakout. Head coach Robert Saleh was added to the was I don't know if coaches can get added to the COVID list, but he was tested positive for COVID, and he has is basically out for this game this week. I haven't gotten firm confirmation of it, but I got an alert that said Michael Carter was added. The Jets have two Michael Carters on their team.
They do.
So I know that the Michael Carter on defense was definitely added, but I haven't gotten confirmation if the Michael Carter on offense was added at all. So be on the lookout for that. But they're definitely, the Jets definitely are have a COVID breakout happening right now across their team. So I mean, there's one going across the league. But in terms of this game here, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take Jacksonville to cover. I'm going to take Jacksonville to win. On the Jacksonville side, James Robinson, obviously, the Jets have been weak against running backs. James O'Shaughnessy, the Jets have been weak against tight ends. On the Jets side, Jamison Crowder and Braxton Berrios, again, they're the only ones that in this offense right now that have the ability to make plays. And this is Michael Carter can't go, but Michael Carter wasn't even very good last week in his first game back. But I think that he was just too good. The stretch before he suffered that high ankle sprain. That I think he should earn his role back as he gets healthier. I think that starts this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Jets to cover and the Jets to win. I just can't see the Jets losing. Jacksonville hasn't won a road game this year. They're 0-6 on the road. Like,
no Urban Meyer though. No Urban Meyer.
They lost last week. They lost last.
Yeah, it was like the first game without Urban Meyer, which is
it was Houston. Like the Jets, the two of their 3 wins are at home, so I think they get it done. Berrios and Crowder, I agree with you on that side. Probably the only usable receivers in deeper league flexes conversation. Michael Carter, if he's able to go, he's the best player on the team with Elijah Moore, but Elijah Moore's not playing. He's also on the COVID list too. Yeah, Michael Carter, start him up if he's going. On Jacksonville side, I'm only looking at James Robinson if he's able to go. He's got a smash spot matchup here. For sure, if he's able to go, he can put up a RB1 day, like the RB1.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to this next matchup, man, we got the 10-4 LA Rams traveling to Minnesota to take on the 7-7 Minnesota Vikings. This game has a 49.5 point total, where the LA Rams are 3-point favorites. In terms of injuries, the Rams are okay. Getting some guys back from the COVID list. In terms of Minnesota, Adam Thielen, he's still dealing with that ankle injury. He was a game time decision before their game on Monday night. He did not go, so maybe he's closer. Has yet to practice, so maybe if he can get some practices in, that would give us a better idea. Kirk Cousins, he's dealing with a rib injury apparently, so something to monitor there. Greg, where are you going with this matchup here?
I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take the Rams to cover. Take the Rams to win. On the Rams side, this is a smash spot for both Stafford and Kupp. I think they're going to absolutely destroy in this matchup, especially Cooper Kupp. Continuing for him to be what he's been doing all year, setting records at this point in the season. Might break some records at the end of the season, which is great. Sony Michel, if he's able to go, depending on the running backs, if it's Darrell Henderson. But if Sony Michel being the number 1 running back, you're playing him, I think, as a RB2. As far as the secondary receiver, Van Jefferson, Odell, it's really hard to trust who's going to be. But I think Van Jefferson has a little higher upside. But I would both rank him in that wide receiver 3 category. on the Viking side, it's Dalvin Cook, it's Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, if he's able to go. I think he was close last week, surprisingly. So I think he'll be closer to playing this week if he's able to go. He's in that low wide receiver 2 territory for me. And if Kirk Cousins is healthy, it's not a primetime game, so yeah, lock and load him, play him.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Minnesota. I'm gonna take the over. I'm gonna take Minnesota to cover. But I'm gonna take the Rams to win. This game has a ton of intrigue to me. It could be a ton of shootout potential here as well. Cooper Kupp, like you were saying, a wide receiver 1. I mean, him and Stafford are in a phenomenal spot here. Matthew Stafford has top 5 upside this week. Van Jefferson, Odell Beckham Jr. Both wide receiver 3s. I agree with you. I think I probably prefer Van over Odell. But again, both of those guys in a game like this can have a ton of upside. Sonny Michel, I think he's the lead back right now. He's operating as such. So I would lean on him as an RB2 option. Hendo's going to be more of an RB3 with some pass catching upside here. In terms of Minnesota, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, both those guys, they're going to be the engines of this Minnesota offense. And that's probably going to be it for me in season long. I mean, Kirk Cousins, you could tell a story where it could go so bad for Kirk Cousins, but obviously this game, it could be so good in terms of there's a high total or 49.5. Almost sitting at 50 points. It's a close spread at 3 points or less. It's not in prime time, so that's good.
Sure.
It's just like, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. It's just there's this thing in my head where I'm just like, this thing could be bad here. But Cooper Kupp, again, I think that he's Cooper Kupp. He doesn't play with Cooper Kupp. He plays with Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook, and Kirk Cousins. I think just in any game where they have to score points, he's a part of that. So maybe you've rated him this far. Maybe you just ride him out for another game here. Moving on to the next matchup, also 1 p.m. The 8-6 Buffalo Bills traveling to New England to take on the 9-5 New England Patriots. This game has a 43.5 point total, where the New England Patriots are 2.5 point favorites. In terms of injuries on the Buffalo side, Emmanuel Sanders, he was limited participant with a knee injury. Cole Beasley, he's out as he was placed on the COVID-19 reserve list. Greg, why are you laughing?
I'm like, Sanders, stay out. Stay out.
In terms of New England, Kendrick Bourne, he has a chance to play. He's on the COVID-19 reserve list. Ramondre Stevenson, he was a DNP with an illness. Damian Harris, he was limited with a hamstring. In terms of the game here, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Buffalo to cover. I'm going to take Buffalo to win. Josh Allen gets a little bit of a downgrade here, but I think you can start him as a lower end QB1. He's not running, which again going to cap that upside, but he's still their best form of generating offense. I think Devin Singletary, he's an RB2. Stephon Diggs should see a ton of attention. Gabe Davis, he's a wide receiver 3, should continue to see a ton more opportunity. Dawson Knox, he's gonna be a solid tight end option for me. On the New England side, Damian Harris, if he's healthy, probably the running back 1 for New England. Ramondre Stevenson didn't do anything to really wrestle the job or any more opportunities away from Damian Harris in that absence against Indianapolis. Mac Jones, he's a QB2. I think he's probably going to have a better game than people are anticipating. I know everyone's going to look to that game that they had a couple weeks ago and be like, hey, Mac Jones is not going to do much against this defense. He's not going to throw the ball, but that game was played in really poor weather. So I think we, like Belichick said, they haven't seen all their pass plays yet. So I think that we see some of those pass plays, used on Sunday. So Kendrick Bourne probably the wide receiver I want to target in that situation. And then Hunter Henry going to be the tight end that I want in that situation as well.
Yeah, I don't understand how people can use that game in any context ever. When people use that game, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
You have to throw it out.
Yeah, you have to throw it out. Yeah. I'm going to take the under, though. I'm going to take the Pats to cover. I'm going to take the Pats to win. I think that just being in Foxborough just gives them a little bit of edge. On the Pats side, though, if Damon Harris is able to go, I think he's back to that RB1 slot for the team. I think he is in, if I'm going to rank him, mid-tier RB2, with Stevenson being RB3. As far as the receiver I want, I agree, is Kendrick Bourne and Hunter Henry as far as the other pass catcher that I want on this offense for sure. Mac Jones seems to be, have a strong affinity to him, especially in the red zone. On the Buffalo side, Josh Allen, QB1, no matter how he does it. As far as Devin Singletary is going to be involved because he's going to be getting carries if Josh Allen's not running. So I think he's going to get that 15 carry work, which is nice to produce a low and RB2 week, some higher upside if he gets a touchdown. As far as the receivers, Diggs, you're starting him up. No Cole Beasley. He's on the COVID-19 list. He's unvaccinated for sure. He's made that clear. So Gabe Davis, man, if Emmanuel Sanders can't go, I just Gabe Davis is going to be hopefully get into the end zone again, get some a high target number, get close to 7-8 targets, and then Dawson Knox being top 5 tight end every week.
Yeah, definitely, man. I like that. Moving on to the 4:00 games, the 4:05 p.m. We've got the 4-10 Chicago Bears traveling to Seattle to take on the 5-9 Seattle Seahawks. This game has a 43.5-point total. The Seattle Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites. In terms of injuries, Justin Fields, he's dealing with an ankle injury. He's limited to participate in practice. Tyler Lockett for Seattle, he's according this quote comes from Pete Carroll, closing in on being activated from the COVID-19 reserve list. So seems like that means he's close to returning, but nothing concrete yet. Again, the most optimistic man in the world, Pete Carroll.
Even through COVID, yeah. Facts.
Justin Fields. Sorry. Well, I'm gonna take the under here. This isn't me. Greg, you're up.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna take the over. I'll take Chicago to cover, but I'm gonna take Seattle to win. On Seattle side, Russell Wilson, I think, can give you a QB2 week. He didn't have a very good week last week, but that Rams line is finally getting healthy. I think the Bears D line can disturb some people with Quinn and them boys, so I think he's in that QB2 territory. As far as the passing game, Tyler Lockett, if he's able to go, you're starting him, fire him up as a low and wide receiver one. He was blowing up with Russell Wilson last couple weeks. Not trusting DK. And yeah, as far as that's pretty much it. Rashad Penny, I think, is in that RB3 category. For the Bears, though, Dave Montgomery's in a smash spot here. I think he's in a really good spot, a good matchup, still getting good volume. And Darnell Mooney, I think, is in that wide receiver 3 territory as well with some wide receiver 2 upside. And that's about it. Cole Kmet is always a streamable tight end.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take the Bears to cover. I'm going to take the Seahawks to win. I think Justin Fields has quarterback 1 upside again this week in this spot against Seattle. Hopefully the ankle doesn't limit him, but he's a tough kid. So, I think he'll play through that. Dave Montgomery, like you said, some real high-end RB1 upside in this spot here.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Kmet, tight end 1 option, my stream of the week. I like that. Darnell Mooney, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 option this week here. The matchup, again, is good against Seattle. And then Russ, he has some quarterback 1 upside in the matchup like this. Not in love with his recent performances, but definitely see the upside there. You can tell yourself that story. Tyler Lockett, like you said, he's got to be in your lineup if he goes. And DK Metcalf, again, I've been saying it. He's If you just look at him as a wide receiver 3 or 4 or somebody you're going to put in your flex, you feel much better about it. Had 12 targets last week, so that's definitely a number that you feel good about. The matchup here is not terrible, so I definitely could see myself taking a shot on him as a flex option.
Yeah.
Moving on in the next matchup here, 4:25 p.m. We got the 7-7 Denver Broncos traveling to Las Vegas to take on the 7-7 Las Vegas Raiders. This game has a 41.5 point total, where the Las Vegas Raiders are 1 point favorites, essentially a pick 'em here. In terms of injuries on the Denver side, Javonte Williams, he was a limited participant with a knee injury, the same injury that he was dealing with from the week prior. Teddy Bridgewater, he's out with a concussion. On the Vegas side, Darren Waller, he was DNP Wednesday with a knee and a back. The same one that kept him out last week, or these last few games actually. Josh Jacobs, he was DNP with an illness. And then Foster Moreau, he was a limited participant on Wednesday with a thigh injury. I'm going to take the over here. I'm going to take the Raiders to cover. I'm going to take the Raiders to win. Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon, both in good spots here. I'm always going to lean towards Javonte Williams. He's been involved in the pass game too, which has been really nice. In terms of pass catchers, Noah Fant, he's a tight end 1. Again, that doesn't mean a whole lot in terms of, he's just a tight end that happens to have a likelihood of finishing in the top 12 at his position. And then Al-O, he's someone I think you can hit the emergency glass on. Like if you really need a tight end, he's somebody that I'm going to be comfortable recommending every week.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Denver to cover and Denver to win.
Sorry. I didn't hit the Raiders side at all.
Raiders,
on the Raiders side, Josh Jacobs and RB1, Hunter Renfrow, high-end wide receiver 2. That's it for me. Now I pass it back to you.
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback off the Raiders side, I agree with you. I do like Josh Jacobs and Hunter Renfrow. I mean, Foster Moreau's proved us nothing, especially if Darren Waller can't go. So those two guys I'm eyeing. On Denver side, like the running backs, Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. Javonte Williams, I agree, has the higher upside to give you possibly RB1, low on RB1 upside. And as far as the pass catchers, I'm looking at the tight ends. Noah Fant and Al-O. Those are really the two pass catchers I'm looking at. It's pretty rough for this offense, but I think they get it done with the run game.
Moving on to this next matchup, 4:25 p.m., we've got the 7-6-1 Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Kansas City to take on the 10-4 Kansas City Chiefs. This game has a 44-point total, where the Kansas City Chiefs are 7.5 point favorites. In terms of injuries here, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Nick Bolton, Travarius Ward, amongst many other players on the Chiefs, all test positive and are added to the COVID-19 reserve list. In terms of Pittsburgh's injuries, Pat Freiermuth, he's dealing with a concussion, the second one of the year. So he was a DNP on Wednesday. Devin Bush was added to the COVID-19 list. So, Greg, where are you going here with this matchup?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Kansas City to cover, Kansas City to win. On Kansas City side, Patty, he's doing pretty well the last couple games. Got to play him as a top 5 option, QB position. As far as the running backs, it's been tough to trust him a little bit. Clyde, I think, still has the higher upside. I think in that low end RB2 category. As far as the receivers, pass catchers, Travis Kelce, you're starting him coming off his blow up game last week. Tyreek Hill was also added to the COVID list, I believe. So as far as the secondary pass guys step up, I mean, it's hard to, really is Brian Pringle, DeMarcus Robinson, guys like that. I still would just rely on Travis Kelce, really. I think Mahomes is probably going to spread the ball against with those complementary receivers if Hill can't go. On Pittsburgh side, Najee Harris, you expect him to bounce back. This was probably his first really, bust game of the year. So I think he bounces back from that as a low on RB1. Deontay Johnson wide receiver 1 territory as well. And Claypool's in that wide receiver 4, that's some wide receiver 3 upside.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the over here. I'm gonna take Kansas City to cover. I'm gonna take Kansas City to win. Yeah, I mean, do we have confirmation Travis Kelce's going? Like, is that a fact?
I don't know,
Because I know
but
he
I
was added
can
to the
check that.
COVID-19 list, but he's asymptomatic, and I they believe he's vaccinated. So,
Well, right now he's still on the list. He's vaccinated though, so there's a chance he could be activated before Sunday under
yeah,
the
so
new COVID
he
protocols.
has a shot.
Yeah,
But I would definitely have other contingency plans in place. His backup Blake Bell was also added to the COVID-19 list, so you can't even go directly to his backup there.
maybe it's the
Um,
McCole Hardman game. This could be it, man. This is the one.
Definitely not putting my chances on a fantasy championship on McCole Hardman to lead me there. I'd rather put it on Byron Pringle. But honestly, Mahomes, I think he still finishes as a QB1 for you. We've been saying it. I mean, I know I've been saying it forever, right? Like, Mahomes doesn't need the best supporting
No.
cast in the world, but he has it, and he doesn't need the best play caller in the world, but he has that too. So, I think between the play caller and his pure talent, he should still be able to get a QB1 finish. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think this has to be a good week, man. I mean, Pittsburgh has been terrible as a rush defense, so Clyde, I think he's got to come through this week with at least an RB1 finish. I think that's the standard this
I
week.
mean, yeah, they could rely on more without any pass catchers too.
With the pass catchers missing, I think obviously Byron Pringle has a role, as does I think Darrell Williams. I think Darrell Williams probably gets a little bit more involved, catches some more passes out of the backfield with some of these guys missing. On the Pittsburgh side, Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, both top 6 options for me at their respective positions. But that's really as far as I'm going to go, in terms of that offense.
Yeah, I still like Pat Freiermuth as a tight end you're starting.
No, if he can go for sure. If he can go,
yeah,
I
true.
don't know.
He can
I
go.
don't know what the situation is with him.
Yeah.
If he can go 100%. He's in my
Yeah.
lineup as a tight end 1. But moving on to Sunday Night Football, we got the 6-8 Washington football team traveling to Dallas, taking on a 10-4 Dallas Cowboys. This game has a 47.5 point total. The Dallas Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites. In terms of injuries, Dallas is okay. Washington, on the other hand, Landon Collins, he was a DNP with a foot injury, and then Antonio Gibson, he was a DNP with a toe injury. In terms of the game here, I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take Dallas to cover. I'm going to take Dallas to win. I feel like CeeDee Lamb's gonna have his breakthrough game this week. I really do. Greg's laughing, but I really feel like, mainly because most of my CeeDee Lamb teams have already been eliminated from playoff contention, so
Same.
it just feels like that karma's just coming to set in like that. Not karma, not like that I deserve this, but just Greg, you know how my luck turns out sometimes with these things. So I feel like Dak has to follow suit eventually. Don't know if that's this week, but eventually Dak has to turn it around. Tony Pollard and Zeke are both in play for me as running back 2s. I don't know who to give the higher upside to. I want to say it's Zeke, but I feel like it's Pollard. But on the Washington side, Antonio Gibson, he's an RB2 if he can go. If not, Jarrett Patterson, I don't know if you really want to trust him as a 3-down back. I'm not really, I don't think I'm going to go there. And then Terry McLaurin, he's going to be a wide receiver 3 for me this week. He has not been great, so it's hard to trust him for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna take Dallas to cover, Dallas to win. I think Dallas continues to dominate with their D line. One of the best D lines in football right now. On Dallas side, not really. I mean, if Dak couldn't get it done last time against Washington in this defense, I'm not gonna put all my marbles into Dak again. I think he still gives you, I think he gets a QB2 finish, but something's up this last couple of weeks. He just hasn't been getting it done. I do trust Zeke a little more than Pollard this week. I both have him as RB2s though, and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup should both have solid games. Dalton Schultz seems to find his way back into relevance, so you're playing him as well. And as far as Washington, AG, if he can go, he's the only one I want. Good bounce back week last week. I think he's solid. Has some RB1 upside, high in the RB2. That's about it as far as the Washington side.
Yeah, definitely. One thing to note though on the Dak thing, I know you talked about the game the last time. There was a lot of defensive, some turnovers led to some short fields. Has a little impact on the score. Plus, he's playing at home this time too. So,
I mean, I don't know, man.
I know. I'm grasping for straws here. Moving on to the final matchup of the week, Monday Night Football, the 7-7 Miami Dolphins traveling to New Orleans to take on the 7-7 New Orleans Saints. This game has a 38.5-point total, where the Saints are 3-point favorites. In terms of injuries, Miami's okay. New Orleans, on the other hand, they added Adam Troutman and tight end Juwan Johnson, both their tight ends, to the COVID-19 reserve list. So I believe that just leaves Nick Van Nett there. Greg, where are you at with this matchup here?
Taking the under. I'll take the Saints to cover and the Saints to win. I do think this is one of those ugly games. I mean, hopefully not 6-0 or 9-0 like the other last Saints game, but the Saints' defense can really get hot. They're home. I think they get it done. Taysom Hill, though, he still finishes as a QB1, low on QB1 at the very least. Kamara, you're playing him, and Marcus Callaway seems to be getting the work as the number one receiver in this offense the last couple of weeks. So I'm playing him as in wide receiver 3 category. As far as the Miami side, Tua, he couldn't take advantage of that matchup last week. I think he's in QB2 territory as well. As far as the running back, thought it was going to be Myles Gaskin. Switched right to Duke Johnson, and definitely a guy we talked about on the waiver wire pod. I think he's definitely going to get a timeshare, at least between the two. I'm very intrigued to see if Duke Johnson gets the lead again, because Salvon Ahmed will also be activated most likely. So it might be a little messy situation, but if I had to choose one, I'll probably go with the hot hand right now, and Duke Johnson give me an RB3 week. Jalen Waddle, he's back, so that's awesome news. He should be coming off the COVID this week. He is a wide receiver 2 for me, and Mike Gesicki is a low and tight end 1.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take the Saints to cover. I'm going to take the Saints to win. On the Miami side, Jalen Waddle resumes his role here as a low-end wide receiver 1. Devontae Parker, I'm going to have him as a wide receiver 2. Mike Gesicki is a low-end mid-range tight end 1. Duke Johnson versus Myles Gaskin, that's the question this week, like you alluded to. I think I'm definitely going to agree with you here and go with the hot hand here in Duke Johnson. On the New Orleans side, I hate to question it, but does Taysom Hill have a down week? I just have to throw it out there. Miami, good against quarterbacks, especially these mobile quarterbacks. We saw what they did to Lamar Jackson. We saw what they were able to do to Cam Newton. So it just makes me wonder, does that happen? I think Sean Payton and company, they're good enough as an offensive staff to cook some stuff up there for Taysom Hill, but I do question, whether the upside will be there. Alvin Kamara will be an RB1, of course, for sure.
Yeah.
Time for that money time, man. Let's get to them starts of the week, Greg.
Ching. Yes, sir.
Quarterback start of the week, brother. What do you got?
I alluded to it earlier. Matthew Stafford going against Minnesota. I think this is an awesome matchup for him. Just going to be a smash spot for him. It hasn't had a 300-yard game since that game against Green Bay. I think he gets it done here and gets his 3 touchdowns like he was doing a lot through the meets part of the year. He's going to finish with a top five day for sure. Start him up.
My quarterback start of the week, Matthew Stafford. He's been money this year under Sean McVay. Got a career high. He's got career highs in completion percentage at 67.6, touchdown rate at 7%, and the second highest yards per attempt in his career at 8.3. He's been absolutely balling against Minnesota defense, which has been one of the worst against quarterbacks, especially in recent weeks. Love this one here, and you know it's going to be good because Greg and I both picked this, so definitely love that one. Greg, your running back start of the week, brother. What do you got?
Got to go with Dave Montgomery going against Seattle. I mean, he's still getting that volume. He had 18 carries last week, 6 targets last week, still over 20 touches. I think he's going to get similar volume this week, but with a way better matchup going against Seattle, who's bottom 5 against running backs at their position, giving up a lot of running yards. And yeah, Dave Montgomery, I think they're going to win this game. It's going to be on the back of him.
Yeah, I like that one. Definitely sense that one coming. Tell me if you sense this one coming. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire. It hasn't been the best year for Clyde, but he's been solid. Now comes a really juicy matchup against Pittsburgh. And over the last 3 weeks, you wouldn't know it, but Pittsburgh is up ahead of the New York Jets for the one of the worst rush defenses against opposing running backs. They're actually the second worst. So there's actually a team that's up there ahead of both them and the Jets. But they're allowing 33.1 PPR points to opposing running backs over the last 3 weeks. And, some of the loss of weapons in the pass game for the Chiefs kind of sets up here perfectly for Clyde Edwards-Hilaire to have an RB1 finish on the week.
Ooh, hope you're right. That Birdman ham rub, man, that'd be a great for Clyde and the team.
Be great for Clyde. Be great for the team. It'd be great for our team that we co-manage here. So, Greg, your wide receiver start of the week, man. What do you got?
I'm gonna go with T. Higgins going against Baltimore, going against his banged up secondary. I mean, last week he, first week in 3 weeks that he didn't get his over 100 yards. The previous 3 weeks he was averaging over almost 120 yards per game. Had 2 touchdowns in that span. I think he gets back to that, and he's going to destroy this team. Jamar Chase got the big game last time. It's time for T. Higgins to get it done going against Baltimore.
I like that one as well. Definitely sense that one coming as well. You probably sense this one coming. Going for the confidence shot here with my guy CeeDee Lamb. Again, he's been so close to breaking out in recent weeks. I gotta call my shot here when we need it. Going up against Washington, who's 11th in terms of PPR points allowed to wide receivers over these last 3 weeks. The other thing, CeeDee Lamb is he's got a team leading 28% target share over this time span, which is a very healthy number. Trust CeeDee Lamb to lead you to this promised land starting this week here against the Washington football team.
Gotta love that there. I mean, another one that will also help our team. So, yeah, we need CeeDee Lamb for sure.
Most definitely. Greg, your tight end start of the week, what do you got?
I'm going to go with Rob Gronkowski going against Carolina. Just the bump in targets he's going to get. This man had 11 targets last week. That's a season high. Only had 2 catches off that. It's a very low catch rate, but he gets it done this week in a better matchup. More attention just for him because there's not going to be many receivers out there. It's going to be him and AB. So I think Gronk gets it done and gets in the end zone.
I like this one a lot, man. Most definitely. Greg, you said that there was 2 guys that representing our team. There's actually I got 3 starts of the week that represent our team here. Tight end start of the week here.
Is this for the pod or for our team?
I mean, it just happened to work out this way. I swear, I wasn't doing this on purpose. But Kyle Pitts, over the last 3 weeks, Detroit is allowing the 8th most PPR points to the tight end position at 16.7 PPR points per game. During that time span, Pitts has tied for tight end 7 with 10.5 PPR points per game. I think recent usage and a nice matchup will make for a nice spot here for the rookie, who has 847 receiving yards through 14 games and just 1 touchdown. Kyle Pitts, start him up, man.
Hey man, I'm with it. Matt Ryan, stream of the week. Got Atlanta as defense stream of the week. Got a lot of Atlanta love this week, so hopefully they get it done against Detroit.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Greg, let's jump into the money time, man. You
Yes,
got a
sir.
win on me last week.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I gotta get back in the win column here. I know you're trying to stay in the win column. You're trying to go streaking here, Greg. So, um, I believe you have the first pick here because I did have the first pick last week.
Bet. So I'm going to take Cooper Kupp as my wide receiver 1. Slide him in there. 9,800. Spending that change.
That is painful.
Yeah, no, that's why I took him first. I'm coming for blood. Got a close showing, you know.
That's painful. I'm gonna go with I know he's your wide receiver start of the week, so T Higgins 6,500 because that price is just so nice.
It's so nice. It's crazy. I mean, yeah, I had him in my lineup, but I really needed Cooper Kupp. So I'm gonna take Matthew Stafford now to get that stack at my quarterback start of the week, 7,900. Also going against Minnesota.
Okay. So with my first running back slot, I need this price here. I need these savings. I'm gonna go with Justin Jackson, 5,400.
Brutal.
I know because I had Cooper Kupp in here too. So
3 square right there.
yeah.
Oh, you got money now. I'm going to take Dave Montgomery then. My running back start of the week, 6,600 as my RB1 as I figure out my RB2.
I'm going to take my running back start of the week here. Clyde Hilaire, 6,500.
As my RB2, I'm going to take the other free square, Ronald Jones, also 5,400. Slide him in there going against Carolina.
For my first wide receiver, I'm going to take Justin Jefferson, 8,400. Or my second wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, 8,400, going up against the LA Rams. I can't beat you. Might as well join you, I guess.
Word, Jordan, get in that game for sure. I'm going to take as my second receiver, Hunter Renfrow, going against Denver, 7,100.
Okay. For my third receiver, I'm actually going to go Antonio Brown, 7,000. So, yeah, I like that one.
Word for sure. I'm going to take Russell Gage as my third receiver, 6,700, going against Detroit.
Okay, that's fine. I'm actually going to go Kyle Pitts as my tight end. My tight end start of the week, 5,900, going up against Detroit.
And I'm going to take Robert Gronkowski, my tight end start of the week, 6,700 in that same Tampa Bay Carolina game.
I'm going to go Dalvin Cook, 8,800 in the flex.
I'm take from last week. I'm liking this tight end in the flex thing. I'm gonna go Dallas Goedert, 5,900, going against the Giants. He's been playing really well of late.
Nice. I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville defense, 4,000, going up against the New York Jets.
Yep, and I'm gonna take Atlanta's defense, 3,800, going against Detroit Lions. Cheap at defense as well.
I'm gonna go with my quarterback. I'm just gonna call my shot here. Tyler Huntley, 75, going up against Cincinnati.
Oh man, what who my plays? Are you just gonna? Is that?
I'll swap it out, right? You let me do that, right, Greg?
Sure. 7,500.
Yeah, 7,500 or less.
Word. Bet.
All right, so Greg, why don't you read off your roster for the people?
Matty Stafford, my quarterback start of the week, our quarterback start of the week at 7,900, playing Minnesota. Dave Montgomery, my running back start of the week, 6,600. Ronald Jones, 5,400, going against Carolina. Cooper Kupp with that Matthew Stafford stack at 9,800, going against Minnesota. Hunter Renfrow is my wide receiver 2 at 7,100. Russell Gage, my wide receiver 3, 6,700. Rob Gronkowski, my tight end at 6,700, going against Carolina. Dallas Goedert in my flex at 5,900. That's a really nice price. And the Atlanta Falcons, 3,800, going against Detroit as my defense.
And for me, I've got Tyler Huntley, 7,500, going up against Cincinnati. As my quarterback. My RB1, I've got Justin Jackson, 5,400, going up against Houston. Clyde Hilaire is my RB2, 6,500, going up against Pittsburgh. My wide receiver 1, Justin Jefferson, 8,400, going up against the LA Rams. Antonio Brown, 7,000, going up against Carolina. T. Higgins, 6,500, going up against Baltimore. Kyle Pitts, my tight end start of the week, 5,900, going up against Detroit. Dalvin Cook, 8,800, going up against the LA Rams. And Jacksonville Jaguars, 4,000, going up against the New York Jets. Like it. I like it a lot. So, everybody, we hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you were able to power through the whole thing. But we definitely appreciate y'all kicking it with us. We appreciate y'all vibing with us this year. If you've made it this far, whether you made it to the fantasy playoffs or you're not gonna make it to, or you've already been eliminated or you didn't make it, just stay locked in, stay tuned in, and you'll continue to get better for it and be better for it, especially next year. So, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Enjoy this time with your family and your loved ones. Again, from us here at the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. Again, we love you. We appreciate you. And, again, just continue to, and just have this time with your family and really enjoy it. So until next time, y'all, we will talk to y'all Monday. Hopefully you guys a lot of y'all come back winners on the other side of it. So until next time, we'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Yeah.